Idol! Pa-selfie naman!
The all-new Airblade 150, the cutting edge.
Ang flame grill daw, rich at smoky, nalalak in ang lasa, kaya sobrang beefy. Pero malay ko, voice over lang ako. Taste the smoky flame grill difference. Burger King Whopper Jr. 69 lang.
Sunday, Barairo.
Oh, baby, just touch my body. Don't need nobody else but you. You're my one and only. Even nobody else. We got your summa bite. Don't be the lagi mo, lagi ko hinihintay.
Narinig kami sa Santo Tomas, Batangas, kung saan talagang bulalo. Ang kasama ko ay si Vice Mayor Armando Silva ng Santo Tomas, Batangas. Vice, ano ba, kailan po ba talaga nagsimula itong bulalo dito?
Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, siguro mga 1960s, isa na yan eh. Dahil nakagis na po na yan eh.
Oo.
Actually, ang unang bulalo rito ay dun sa yung restaurant, ay dun sa malapit sa amin, dun sa station po, housing.
Oo, yung papunta sa Pablo.
Yung crossing ng araw, wala pa yung highway.
Oo.
So, ang isa sa mga kaya na una ka mga anong bulalo, ay Tiyo, si Jeffrey, sila. Sumamang Tiyo, Jeffrey, Oba. Tapos nandyan din yung Rosing Grace, nandyan na rin, yung trainings. Tanda ko, dulo rin mga 19, dulo mo, 2000 na taon. At tanda ko, may mga counter. Doon sa tapat natin.
At kumain.
Para kumain na ng bulalo.
Bulalo.
1960s.
1960s, abay, hindi mo 60 years na. 60 years na natin ini-enjoy itong bulalo nito. Ay ngayon naman, ang kontribusyon ng bulalo sa Santo Tomas, sa kumbaga sa kita ng Santo Tomas, di malaki na rin.
Una-una ay parang bulalo, parang naging tourist attraction dito.
Ayun.
So nakilala ang bayan ng Santo Tomas sa bulalo. Tapos, siyempre, attention mga tao. Tanda yung dito, iba doon. So nakilala yun sa buong Pilipinas, kaya sa buong Barairo. So, contributor yan doon sa bulan. Naka-issued na.
Oo, ngayon i-issued na. Ay siya, maraming salamat Vice. Yan po ang istorya ng bulalo dito sa Santo Tomas, Batangas. Yan po isa sa pinagmamalaki namin dito sa Batangas. At yan po kasama sa programa ng doon po sa amin. Yung ang programa yun ay sasabihin po namin sa inyo kung ano pinagmamalaki namin dito sa Batangas. Maraming salamat po.
Meron po natin po ng
Kaya, tayo, tayo muna tayo.
Sana ay maghabang buhay na ito.
Sunday, Barairo.
Oh, baby, just touch my body. Don't need nobody else but you. You're my one and only. Even nobody else. We got your summa bite. Don't be the lagi mo, lagi ko hinihintay.
Cute siguro ng pink lipstick.
Nasa Lazada yan!
I want to buy shoes.
Nasa Lazada yan!
Mangoes.
Nasa Lazada yan! Power banks. Bags. Nasa Lazada yan! Free shipping. Flash sale. Nasa Lazada yan!
Ecor.
Nasa Lazada yan! Hey!
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng STC30 ng Super Life Philippines.
When it comes to your health, we give freedom for your health because your health is wealth with us. We take care of you. Even with a little, we make it work. For the young, the poor, the old, Super Life is yours. To Super Life, Super Life. Welcome to Super Life, Super Life. Welcome to Super Life, Super Life. Welcome to Super Life, Super Life. Oh, Super Life, Super Life. Kaibigan, dito na sa bisyo ng bayan. Ibigay ang inyong kailangan, itahimik at totohanan. Serbisyo Balita, una-una ang mamamayan. Serbisyo Balita, asahan bilang teman. Serbisyo Balita, una-una ang mamamayan. Serbisyo Balita, asahan bilang teman.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Isang magandang hapon, Pilipinas, and welcome to our year-ender episode ng ating programang Serbisyo Balita Live Online. Welcome po sa lahat ng mga nanonood ng live na yon dito sa aming Facebook page, Serbisyo Balita. Ayan. And dun sa mga kapanood mamaya sa aming YouTube channel, ang Serbisyo Balita Live Online. Ayan. So, hopefully, itong ating ilang oras na lang. Goodbye 2021 na. Ayan. And welcome 2022. Ayan. Kaya sa ngalan ng ating kasamang si Miss Laarni Barairo, ito po ang inyong lingkod, Arjay, Salgado. Ayan, doon sa mga manonood mamaya sa ating YouTube channel. Kaya huwag mo pong kakalimutan mag-subscribe. I-like nyo muna, then mag-subscribe. At hit notification bell para kayo ay update sa aming mga bagong upcoming videos and episodes ng Serbisyo Balita Live Online YouTube channel. Yan. At syempre, kamusta po? Iwas paputok tayo para iwas disgrasya. Shout out na muna sa ating kaibigan, ating kasama sa Serbisyo Balita, si Hazel Toledo. Yan. Happy New Year daw sa lahat. Happy New Year sa lahat. And syempre, sa mga kaibigan natin dyan, pero ni Kuya Carl, yan sa lungsod ng Kalamba. Happy New Year po sa iyo at sa iyong mga kasamahan, sa inyong grupo. Happy New Year po. Sana'y maging matagumpay at masagana ang darating na taon para sa ating lahat. Yeah. And sa ating mga kaibigan natin dyan, and tingnan natin, yun, mga nagpapadala ng kanilang pagbati. Yan. Open po ang ating comment section. Yan, medyo nalito yung ating technician. Napalagay sa aking personal Facebook. Ayan. Medyo pasensya na. Pero nasa page naman tayo. Nasa page tayo ng ating Facebook. Yan. Anyway, kaya tuloy yung ating mga messages, comments ay hindi natin ma-post. Yan. Pero pwede pa rin po kayo mag-mensahe dyan sa ating comment section. Yan. Yan, kahit sa sa personal command o sa ating Facebook page, pwede pa rin po kayong magpadala ng inyong mga mensahe sa ating comment section. Ayan. Ayun. Anyway, magulong yan ang hirap kapag kagaling lang sa medyo masama ang paramdam nating technician kaya nalito. Kaya doon sa mga pag na mareklamo, importante nasa Facebook page. Ayan. Ayan. Medyo pagbigyan na natin kung kailan magbabagong taon, sumama sumamalo? Hindi na sumamalo. Sumama ang pakiramdam ng ating technician. So, medyo lang natin yan. Pagpasensya na muna kung nalito. Ganun pa rin yan. Yan. Eto. Yan. Basahin natin. Ayun. May yung ating mga viewers, yung mga manonood, lalo na yung mga bumubuo ng party list na TUCP, huwag kayong mainit. Special tong episode natin tong year-ender natin. Ayan. May nagme-message na naiinip. Abangan nyo. Hindi matatapos ang taon. Anyway, nakakatuwa. Nakakatuwa itong mga to. Ayun. Magandang hapon kay Jesus Villamor. Yan. Sana'y patuloy po kayong manood. Mga 1 oras lang to. Hindi naman to 1 araw tong episode natin to. Year ender. Yan. At ika nga, season ender. Season 1, episode 61. Tama-tama. Pang goodbye sa 2021. Puro 1 yata. Yan. Yun. Nanonood daw, nakatutok raw sa ating programa si Kuya Jess. Yan, Pangulo yata to, kung ano man Pangulo. Ayan. And, by the way, yung Pangulo, sa mga Pangulo, yan. Manood kayo, abangan nyo mamaya. Yan. May special na episode ang KSP. Nahabaan ko na ang aking pananalita. Year-ender episode. O, konti lang ang party natin dito sa episode na to. Ayan. Kaya, Julius Cornico at Sir Brian, it's been a good year. Maraming salamat sa inyong suporta para sa ating wardrobe. Ayan. Mabuhay. Kaya doon sa mga maghahanap ng imported at quality ng mga damit, bags and shoes at apparels sa murang halaga. Ayan. Ay magtungo lang sa Les Consumos dyan sa Crossing, Calamba City. And special thank you. Ayan, thank you. Maraming salamat doon sa nag-provide ng Rudy Project bags, yung mga Torm pack bags and Torm luggages, yung leather wallet set. Kay Ma'am Bell, Happy New Year! Maraming salamat sa iyong suporta para sa aming subscribe and win promo. Next year na lang daw tayo mag-resume ng ating subscribe and win. At kakausapin na raw ng ating kasama na si Miss Laarni yung magbibigay ng house and lot. Ayos yan. House and lot, may kasama pang iba pala. Iba raw yung kotse at yung gold necklace at mga relo. Sabi ng technician natin, hindi raw siya nakatikim kahit load. Next year, papaloadan ka natin kay Ma'am Laarni. Yan, huwag kang mainit. Anyway, yan. Siyempre, maraming salamat din kay Lee Opulensya, ang may-ari ng El Pili Cafe dyan sa Rizal Street, Poblacion 6, Calamba City, malapit lang sa bahay ni Rizal. Maraming salamat sa iyong suporta. Yan, at cooperation. Yan, maraming salamat dun sa mga nais mag-unwind, mag-relax, mag-meeting, at mag-date. Pwede. Yan. Sa El Pili Cafe, dyan sa Rizal Street, Poblacion 6, Calamba City. Malapit lang sa bahay ni Rizal. Ang daming sabi ko, mag-comment doon sa Facebook page ng Serbisyo Balita habang pinapalabas tong ating Facebook Live. Ayan. Pasensya na daw. Ulitin. Pasensya na po at talagang kung tinatrangkaso o hina-high blood tong ating technician. Kahapon pa to eh. Pero back in action pa rin siya. Pinipilit na magtrabaho. Nalito tuloy kung saan account ilalagay yung Facebook Live. Yeah. Anyway, nasa Facebook page pa rin naman. At mapapanood pa rin dyan sa ating YouTube channel sa Serbisyo Balita Live Online. Yan. Tama-tama. Doon sa mga magsasalubong ng bagong taon mamaya, pwede nyo panoorin po ang replay. Yan. Nakasave yan sa aming Facebook, YouTube channel. Okay. So, bago ang lahat, bago mahuli, ay mag-update muna sa ating pinakahuling taya ng panahon, pinakahuling ulat ng Mas Bateñas TV. Ayan, para sa taong 2021. Ayan. Alamin natin kung tayo ay uulanin mamaya habang nagpapaputok. Sama na ng iniisip ng ating technician. Iba yung paputok na iniisip mo. Paputok ng firecrackers. Ano-ano iniisip na naman ng ating technician. Anyway. Yan. So, alamin na muna natin ang pinakahuling taya ng panahon mula sa ating mga kaibigan dyan sa Mas Bateñas TV.
Magandang umaga, netizens. Ngayon po ay araw ng Biyernes, December 31, 2021 at narito po ang update sa lagay ng ating panahon. Asahan pa din po ang mapag-uulan ngayong araw, lalo na po sa Visayas at Mindanao, dahil po ito sa umiiral na tail end ng frontal system o ang pagsasanib ng amihan at ng easterlies. Habang patuloy naman po na nakakaapekto ang hanging amihan sa buong Luzon. Wala po tayong bagyo o low pressure area na minomonitor sa loob at labas po ng ating area of responsibility. Samantala, dahil po sa amihan, may mataas po ngayon ang alon sa mga baybayin po ng Ilocos provinces, eastern coast ng Cagayan, Isabela at Aurora, northern portion ng mainland Quezon kasama ang Polillo Islands, southern coast ng Oriental at Occidental Mindoro, Palawan kasama ang Cuyo Islands, southwestern coast ng Romblon, Bicol region, northwestern coast ng Aklan, northwestern portion ng Antique, northern at eastern Samar hanggang eastern coast ng Dinagat Islands, Surigao provinces kasama na ang Siargao at Bukas Grande Islands, at eastern coast ng Davao Oriental na kung saan delikado pong pumalaot ang ating mga kababayang mangingisda na may maliliit na sasakyang pandagat. Para naman po sa ating rainfall forecast, ngayong araw, mababa naman ang tsansa ng ulan sa malaking bahagi ng Luzon, maliban po sa ilang katamtamang ulan sa mga probinsya ng Aurora, Quezon, Mindoro at Palawan, pero malaking bahagi ng northern at central Luzon, magiging sa Bicol region, ay wala pong ulan. Manatili naman pong mababa ang tsansa ng ulan sa Metro Manila maghapon, bahagyang maulap pero halos walang ulan ang mararanasan. Samantala, ngayong araw, maging handa pa rin sa mga pagulang dulot ng tail end ng frontal system, lalo na po ang mga sinalata ng Bagyo Odette sa Visayas, maghapon na makaranas ng mga pag-ulan na may malalakas na ulan na pwedeng magdulot ng mga pagbaha at landslide. Sa Mindanao, lalo na po sa Caraga at Davao region, maging sa northern Mindanao, ay makakaranas din po ng malalakas na pag-ulan. Maging handa sa banta ng baha at paghuhunan lupa at ugaliin po na magdala palagi ng payong o kahit anong panangga sa ulan sa tuwing lalabas po ng ating mga tahanan. Patuloy na mag-ingat, maging alerto at patuloy na mag-monitor sa lagay ng ating panahon.
Okay, yan. Medyo napasingit yun. Anyway, isang magandang hapon kay Bayani Abarientos. Ba? Ano kaya na ito si Johnny, yung kilalang PBA player nun. Magandang hapon po at Happy New Year sa inyo. Ayan, at nag-comment. Yan, message siya sa ating comment section. Sabi ko na ba't medyo nakakalito ngayon. Hindi natin malaman kung saan natin hahagilapin yung mga messages nyo. Anyway, babasahin po natin yan. Walang problema po. Yan. Okay. Yan. Siyempre. Yan. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. At siyempre tayo magbabalik. Yan. Babalik tayo. Makalipas ang ilang mahalagang paalala.
Just touch my body. Don't need nobody else but you. You're my one and only. Ibang babae ay di kayang sumabay. Don't be the lobby mo lagi kong hinihintay.
Ang bahaging to ay hatid sa inyo ng STC30 ng Super Life Philippines. Dahil life is super.
When it comes to your health, we give freedom for your health because your health is wealth with us. take care of you. Even with little, we make it work. For the young, the poor, the old, super life is yours. Welcome to Super Life, Super Life. 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 Oh, Super Life, Super Life.
Ito po si Mocha Uson mula po sa Mocha Mothers for Change Party List para sa balita sa inyong mga lugar. Manood lamang po ng Serbisyo Balita live online.
Pagpalang araw po sa mga subscribers and viewers ng Serbisyo Balita, sa mga taga-ikalawang distrito ng Laguna. Pagbati po mula kay Board Member Kay Bagnes ng maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon po sa inyo po lahat.
Magandang umaga, netizens. Mempoya.
Welcome back sa ating programang Serbisyo Balita live online. Ayan, at medyo talaga namang parang kung kailan year-ender natin nagkakaroon ng mga slight glitches dito sa ating technical. Sige. Napatawad na natin ang ating technician dahil masama pa rin ang kanyang pakiramdam. Pagaling ka. New Year. Oo nga. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Bago tayo, siyempre, dumako sa special episode natin ngayong araw na to. Isang special episode ng KSP. Bago yan, siyempre, uulat muna tayo. Mawawalan tayo ng eksena dito. Anyway. Kahapon ay pinagdiwang ang ka-125 taong death anniversary o martyrdom ng ating pambansang bayani na si Jose Rizal. At isa ang Rizal Shrine kung saan ginanap yung sinasabing pag-aalay ng bulaklak. Pag-aalay ng bulaklak dito ang sangguniang panglungsod ng Kalamba sa pangunguna ni Vice Mayor Ros Rizal kasama ang dalawang miyembro na si Councilor Tony Toti Lazaro at si Councilor Cha Hernandez. Nag-alay rin ng bulaklak ang representative o pinaka-kumakatawan sa provincial government ng Laguna na si Governor Ramil Hernandez. And kasama rin siyempre hindi magpapahuli. Hindi pwedeng mawala ang nangangalaga ng Rizal Shrine. Yan sa pangunguna ni Miss Sarah. Yan. Parang nalimutan natin yung apelyido ni Ma'am Sarah. Anyway, simpleng okasyon, simpleng celebration lang ang sinagawa kahapon sa Rizal Shrine. At upang pagbibigay pugay at pag-alala sa pagbubuwis o pag-aalay ng kanyang buhay para sa kalayaan ng mga Pilipino nung panahon ng Kastila. Ayan. So maraming nagbigay pugay dyan sa ating pambansang bayani na si Jose Rizal. Medyo iniingatan natin yung baka bigla natin masabi Ros Rizal. Happy New Year po sa Pamilya Rizal dyan sa Calamba City. At mabuhay po. And may you have a prosperous New Year. Yan, sa pamilya ni Vice Mayor Ross Rizal. At siyempre dito sa pamilya ni Consular Attorney Toti Lazaro. Yan, at sana masagana ang inyong taon na 2022. Yan. And siyempre para sa iba pang detalye ng coverage kahapon ng ating news team sa pangunguna ni Miss Laarni Barairo, narito po ang kanyang pag-uulat.
Ano po ang kahalagahan ng pagbunita ng martyrdom ni Dr. Arjay taon-taon?
Ang kahalagahan po nito sa ating kasalukuyang panahon ay ang inspirasyon, ang buhay, aral ng ating pambansang bayani na iniwan sa atin ay dapat sa buhay natin para sa kabutihan ng ating mga mamamayan ng ating bayan.
Sa inyong palagay, paano may sasabuhay ang kabayanihan sa kanya-kanyang komunidad bilang isang leader?
Bigay po natin ang ating sarili, give ourselves, give our share, at yung kabayanihan ay ibibigay po natin sa maliit o malaki mang paraan. Ito ang kahalagahan at pagsasabuhay ng aral ng ating pambansang bayani, Dr. Arjay. Lalong-lalo na po sa panahon ito, napakahalaga po ang pagtutulungan, napakahalaga po ang pagmamalasakit, ang pagbibigay po ng puso sa ating panunungkulan sa ating mga mamayan sa ating bayan.
Una sa lahat, sa kahit anong klase ng turo, katuruan o pamumuhay, kailangan malaman mo, alam mo ang mga turo at ang mga pinaglalaban, lalo na ng ating national hero, Dr. Rizal. Alam ko na isa rito ay ang pagmamahal sa Diyos at sa bayan. At kapag ito'y nalaman mo, ito'y isagawa mo. You have to practice it sa buhay mo kahit sa mga simpleng bagay. Hindi mo naman kailangan maging bayani o politiko o isang kilalang tao para gumawa ng kabutihan para sa bayan. Maliit na bagay sa iyong simpleng paraan, lalo na kung ikaw ay kabataan, pwede ka pa rin gumawa ng difference sa iyong kapwa.
Ayan, maraming salamat do sa yung pag-uulat ng ating kasama na si Miss Laarni Barairo. Yan, supposedly dapat kahapon yan. Kaso talagang wala tayong technician kahapon. So anyway, yan. And happy viewing po. Yan, happy viewing sa ating kasama si Arvin San Mateo. Yan, ng Black Dragon Game Farm dyan sa San Gabriel. Yan, San Gabriel, San Pablo City, yung may-ari ng Black Dragon Game Farm, si Arvin San Mateo. At the same time, yung host ng ating isa sa mga episodes natin na Bloodlines. Yung mga mahilig sa talpakan. Good morning, good afternoon. Yan, nasanay tayo sa umaga kaya medyo meron tayong konting glitches sa mga bate. Good afternoon pala. At the same time, eto, yan, basahin natin. Galing kay Jesus Villamor. Oy, good, nanonood. Good afternoon po. Magandang hapon sa lahat ng viewers ng Serbisyo Balita ni Sir Arjay at ni Ma'am Laarni. Mabuhay po kayo. Yan, mabuhay. Mabuhay din po. At sumagot. May sumagot. Si Hilario Andes. Sounds familiar ba? Kaya sa mga nakakilala kay Sir Hilario Andes, Yan, mabuhay po kayong lahat. Gandang hapon. Yan, sabi ni Sir Hilario, mabuhay. Mabuhay din po. Salamat po sa inyong panonood ng live. Yan. Siyempre, natapos na ang ating pag-uulat. Siguro, oras na. Oras na para sa, ika nga, sa bahagi naman ng special na bahagi ng KSP. Pero siyempre, bago yan. Bago yung KSP, magbabalik ang Serbisyo Balita live online.
I'm June, I'm Lee, and we're from El Fili Cafe. They got another chance, and if they take it, maybe this time it'll be love and they'll find. Maybe now they can be more than just friends. She's back in his life, and it feels so right. Maybe this time love won't end. She's smiling like she used to smile way back then. It's feeling like he used to feel way back when they tried.
Ang bahaging ito ay hatid sa inyo ng STC30 ng Super Life Philippines. Dahil life is super.
When it comes to your health, we give freedom for your health because your health is wealth with us. We take care of you. Even with little, we make it work. For the young, the poor, the old, super life is
Welcome to Super Life, Super Life. 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 Whoa, Super Life, Super Life.
Ito po si Arjay Binay. Palagi po ugaliin na manood, makinig dito sa Serbisyo Balita live online.
Sa akin po mga kababayan, ang inyong pong lingkod, si Councilor Marlo P.G. Alipon, ay bumabati po ng isang masagana at manigong bagong taon. Hinahangad ko po para sa aking mga mahal na kababayan at kanilang pamilya ay ang patuloy pa po na biyaya mula sa ating poong may kapal. Patuloy pa rin tayong bigyan ng malakas na pangatawan, maayos na kalusugan, at kapayapaan ng ating puso at isipan. Hangad ko rin po ang mas progresibo na 2022 para sa bawat isa at para sa ating bayan. Muli po, ang inyong pong lingkod, Councilor Marlo P.G. Alipon, bumabati ng isang masagana at manigong bagong taon. God bless us all po at mag-iingat po lagi tayo. Maraming salamat.
Okay, welcome back sa programang Serbisyo Balita live online at mapapanood nyo pa rin kami ng live dito sa aming Facebook page, Serbisyo Balita, at mapapanood nyo rin to sa aming YouTube channel, ang Serbisyo Balita live online. Ayan. Sa ngalan ng ating kasama na si Miss Laarni Barairo, po ang inyong lingkod, Arjay Salgado. Ayan. Welcome po dun sa mga late na nakapagbukas ng kanilang mga cellphones. Ayan. Anyway, Doon sa mga manonood sa atin sa ating YouTube channel na Serbisyo Balita Live Online, huwag niyo pong kakalimutan. Huwag niyo pong kakalimutan. Mag-subscribe. I-like niyo muna, then mag-subscribe. At hit the notification bell para kayo ay update sa aming mga bagong upcoming videos and episodes ng Serbisyo Balita Live Online YouTube channel. Okay, so dumako na tayo sa ating year-ender episode ng Serbisyo Balita. Ganda ng pagkaka-timing, year-ender. Pinakahuling episode ng Serbisyo Balita Live Online para sa taong 2021. Ayan, ilang oras na lang, 2022 na. Ayan. Sana maging masagana ang inyong bagong taon. Ayan, at maging matagumpay para sa marami. Kaya, without further ado, ang klase, no? Without further ado, natatawa yung ating technician. Di malaman kung ba't natatawa. Pero anyway, para sa kanyang special episode ngayong pagtatapos ng taon, ang KSP, ang kilalanin si public servant, kilalanin si public figure, and kilalanin si presidentiable. Sabi ko na nga ba't medyo familiar yung pangalang kaninang bumati sa atin, si Mr. Hilario Andes. Yan, yung pala. Siya pala ang special guest ni Miss Laarni ngayon sa kanyang KSP. Yan, makakilala na natin. Isa sa mga sa 15 who made it to the eligible presidential candidates for 2022. Alain mo, mahigit 100 ang nag-file ng kanilang candidacy for presidency. 15 lang ang natira. At isa si Hilario Larry Andes sa natira. 15 sila. Malaking bagay na yan. Ika nga. Isa sa mga presidentiable for the 2022 election, si Mr. Hilario Andes. Isang special guest ni Miss Laarni para sa kanya, KSP.
So mainit na pagbati sa lahat ng viewers sa Serbisyo Balita Live Online. Nandito na naman po tayo sa isang episode natin ng KSP. Ang kilalanin ng dating public servant na ngayon ay public figure na ngayon ay isang presidential candidate na walang iba kundi si Sir Hilario Andes. Sir, bilang presidential candidate, sino po si Sir Hilario or Sir Larry Andes?
Thank you, Laarni, dyan sa tanong nyo. Firstly, salamat po sa pagkakataong ito sapagkat ako'y nandito kapiling ninyo at magsasalita ng konti about me, about the plans, about the programs, etc. Ako po yung ordinaryong Pilipino, ordinaryong Bicolano. I always say that to many. And that I came from, shall we say, a modest family from Bicol. My lola is from Camarines Sur, my lolo is from Albay, my father is from Albay, my mother is from Catanduanes. I was trained the hard way by my parents, starting from the elementary grade at Vira Catanduanes, the Immaculate Conception Academy. Ay napagturuan na po kami ng mga magulang namin na magsikap, na maging matapang sa mga hamon ng buhay at maging community-oriented, no? In terms of helping others and serving others. That's why there was a time when I was elementary that I had to sell. I sold calamansi, I sold kamatis, and other root crops in the Vira public market. So that was part of the hard training we had from my father, who was also a small businessman, starting with selling of chickens in the areas of Albay and Sorsogon. Up to that time, we transferred to Catanduanes when I was 5 years old. I took up my secondary education at the Catanduanes colleges from first to second year, then third to fourth year at the Catanduanes State Colleges. I graduated my high school education from said school at Catanduanes. Then for college, I studied at the Divine Word College of Legazpi. I took up accounting, and luckily I'm also an accountant right now. And through all those years, I learned that it is really hard work, that will give you the opportunity to excel, in various fields, in various areas. So it is because of hard work that, because my parents found it hard to provide for the education of my brothers and sisters. I am the oldest. I was the oldest. I still have two brothers and two sisters. So I had to apply as a working student at the Divine Word College in Legazpi. Free tuition. So libre na po yung ibang mga pangailangan. After college, I worked at the Masika program of the Department of Trade and Industry. 3 taon lang po kami sa college because sa fourth year namin, kinuha na po kami ng Masika program under then Secretary Paterno of the Ministry of Industry. That was in 1977. I was assigned at Mindanao. At Osamis first, then at Pagadian, Zamboanga del Sur in 77. Then after that, I was transferred to Region 4. I became the so-called senior team leader of the Masika program. The Masika program is basically helping small businessmen obtain loans from the Development Bank of the Philippines, so that these loans can add up to their capital, they can expand their business, they can produce more, pwede po sila mag-market ng marami, so that they can earn more, which is good for the economy. So after that, after 2 years in Masikap, I was at the Small Business Assistance Center of the Department of Trade and Industry. There, we train businessmen again. We give them consultative services in marketing, in technical, even in financial. We still do and prepare feasibility studies that should be or could be applied to the banks for loan purposes. So in a nutshell, my training in the Department of Trade and Industry is a very broad kind of exposure to the small and medium business industry, which we hope to massively establish, God willing, in a nationwide scale, especially in the rural areas, so that people will be employed, so that people will earn more, and so that our rural people will be contributing to the consumption level of the country. Alam nyo naman, our people should be able to earn more and consume more. That's for the economic development of the country. Yeah. I am also a member, though not very active, of the Freemason Society of the Philippines, and I understand that here in Calamba, tomorrow will be the celebration of the death anniversary of another Mason. That's Brother Jose Rizal, who was instrumental in the fight against Spain during the occupation of Spain of our country. So I joined the people of not only Calamba, but the whole of the country in commemorating the death anniversary of Jose Rizal. And one thing I'd like to say is this: when I was at the Katipunan group at Lipa City, the Museum ng Katipunan, I was asked, if you become president, will you be able to make the June 19th birthday of Jose Rizal also a national holiday? I said yes. So we will make June 19th the birthday of Brother Rizal as a national holiday. Because if you can see, the birth anniversary of Andres Bonifacio is being celebrated. the death anniversary of Rizal on December 30 is being commemorated. So why not also celebrate and commemorate the birthday of the national hero, Jose Rizal? I congratulate the people of Calamba, where the hero was born, and because they continue to give honor, to give recognition to a great man who fought the invaders through his pen, and so much through his sword. Because it was Bonifacio who really raised up arms against Spain. That's
Nabanggit niyo po na member po kayo ng Mason. Paano niyo po sineselebrate ang mga commemorative na event ni Dr. Jose Rizal?
Yeah, thank you, Laarni, again. There are various forms of celebration and commemoration. Of course, at Luneta, almost always the president do the displaying of flowers to the monument of the hero. In other towns and cities, they do the fundraising, they do the offering of flowers, they do the prayers also. We do we wear our uniform, the apron, we wear the apron, and of course we honor the flag, we sing the anthem, and we make sure that this kind of tradition is carried on yearly. Para hindi makalimutan ng mga tao that there was one guy who really stood up against Spain by virtue of his pen, and in fact by virtue of the novels El Filibusterismo and the Noli Me Tangere, which I believe all students, even all Filipinos, should be able to read and appreciate.
Dumako naman po tayo sa usaping politika. Ano po yung nakainganyo sa inyo o motivation nyo? Bakit po kayo tumakbo bilang Pangulo?
Alam po ninyo, ilahat ko na lang yung pinagsimulan nitong krusadang ito. No? In April of 2020 last year, isang mapagdasal na babae po sa Australia ang nag-inform sa akin, nag-text sa akin through the cellphone, through messenger, that Sir, sa aking mga pagdarasal, because she is missionary, sa aking mga pagdarasal, nakikita ko po na hirap ng bayan natin, kawawa na po mga tao, at may nakikita kong isang tao o usbong na isang ordinaryong tao na magiging bahagi ng tunay na pagbangon ng bansa. Sabi niya. Then I said, well, I was surprised. I said, salamat po, ako. Mami, salamat po ng marami. But who is that? He is a farmer, sabi niya. He farms, he plants. Sino po? Sabi niya akin, ang nabibisyon ko ay ikaw. Sa akin, believe. So it started that way, a prayer. So she continued to pray. She still asked for signs, for guidance from the Lord, from God, about what will really happen. Ano po mangyayari? So, hanggang dumating na po sa punto na nagkaroon na siya ng clear vision, sabi niya, that isang farmer ang mamumuno sa bansa natin. Sabi ko, napakaraming farmer. Tingnan na lang natin, sabi niya, but ang tinuturo ni Lord ay isang tao na talagang tunay, na may puso, tunay na matapat, at tunay na may kalinisan ng hangarin para sa bansa. So, tinuro niyo po ako, to be honest. You can call her, you can talk to her about that. So, doon po nagsimula. Now, on the question why anong naging sa akin, etc. So, from April up to November, pinag-aralan ko po yan. It was only in November of 2020 that I accepted. I said, I accepted the challenge. Okay po, let's go. But during that period, marami na po pala silang nag-organize, no? Sa Amerika, sa Australia, sa Canada, sa Europe. Nagsimula na po sila. Mga kababaihan po nagsimula nito. So, to my surprise, kaya nga may tinatawag the March of the Filipinas. marcha ng mga Pilipinang babae. So yun, but again, to be specific about, I am a reader of history. I study history. I found out that this country is really a victim of greed. Greed as a demand. That's why we always say that, and I always say in many groups, many people, no, in online meetings, even in my personal appearance before, there were 4 major greeds that really put the lives of the Filipino people in misery, in a situation where hirap na hirap ang almost 50 to 60% of our population. When I say 50 to 60%, I mean from 50 million to 60 million people that we have. Because more or less we now have 100 million people. It's even more. I think 105, 107 million. So there were 4 major things. When I filed my certificate of candidacy at COMELEC, I mentioned, I think, 2 greeds. The patrimony greed and the taxes greed. Patrimony greed is basically yung pagkakalbo at pag-aabuso ng ating mga kagubatan. In 1900, we have, I think, 70% forest cover of the total 300,000 square kilometers of land that we have. So that means we have 210,000 forest area, square kilometers. 100 years after, from 1900 to year 2000, that became only 20%. So, imagine that. Nakalbong kagubatan natin, ang kabukiran natin, na pinagkukunan ng pagkabuha ng mga kailangan ng mga maliit nating mga mamamayan. Nakalbo po yan. Meaning, from 210,000 square kilometers of forest cover, naging 60,000 square kilometers of forest cover. Napakabilis po ng pagbaba ng pagkat. Alam naman po natin mga nangyayari sa kabukiran, mga puno, no? Talaga walang pakundanan yan. Now in 2010, our forest cover became only 18,000 because 6% na lang po of the 300,000 square kilometers of land that we have. Kaya sa satellite map, makikita po natin Palawan, the western part, mayroon pa akong kabukiran yun. Parts of Catanduanes, mayroon pa. Mindanao, mayroon pa. But basically, the whole of Luzon, wala na po. That's why, one of the 7 flag lamp agenda is environment repair. Repair of the environment that will involve all Filipinos, from elementary pupils up to all the adults Filipinos, who should be involved in replanting, in protecting the forest, in protecting our seas from any destructive elements coming from natural and coming from man-made. So that is the patrimony greed. Remember, 210,000 square kilometers of land ng 2,000, 60,000 square kilometers. So paano pa po yung mga future generations natin? Paano po yung mga anak natin? Kawawa po. On the second grade, it is the taxes grade, Laarni. We were computing from ito sinasabi po namin that for 50 years, no? Kawawa po mga tao natin. Because in 50 years, we saw abuse of political power. And in that abuse of political power, we saw the power of greed. Yung puwersa ng kasatimana, hindi na well, you know what I mean. Now, from the 70s up to now, we were computing. Especially from the 70s up to 2000, that's 30 years. There was an average corruption of from 10 to 12 billion pesos per year. Minimum. From year 2000 up to 2021, or 2020 for that matter, trillions ng budget natin. Now, imagine a minimum calculation of 30% of the budget being corrupted. So an example is that if we have a budget of 4.5 trillion pesos today for this year alone, the estimated corruption would be 1.5 trillion pesos. Because that's 30% average of the total money. Meaning, the question therefore is that, do we really need 4.5 trillion pesos for this year? The answer is no. Why? Because we only need 3 trillion. Because the 1.5 trillion will be corrupted. Will go to the pockets of greedy people. That is not good. That will really put the country in a situation where kawawa ang mga tao. Now, I also mentioned about the political rivalry grids, because that happened. Well, may I just mention of two families who were fighting each other, who were fighting for power, for influence, for whatever benefit they can have. And kaya nga may mga nagsasabi, dapat tumigil na muna sa away politika yung dalawang pamilya nga. You know who those two families are. Let me not mention them anymore. That's the political power rivalry grid. The fourth grid is the use of Mindanao for political election cheating. It always happens. It happened, nalalaman natin na bago ang eleksyon, mayroon ng mga natapos sa balota. Before, when there was yet no digital electronic election, andun yung mga ballot snatching, andun yung mga violence, lalo sa Mindanao, andun yung mga takutan, andun yung mga lahat-lahat. This should stop. This whole grid should stop, so that our people will be given a chance to progress. Our people will be given a chance to live in a peaceful, in a progressive, in a manner where there is always hope for the people to pursue the kind of lives they would like to pursue. Now, I mentioned these four grids, Laarni. I know it's very deep, malalim, perhaps ngayon nyo lang po narinig ito, but it's really a matter of careful study. I read history. Pag nagpatuloy po ito, sabi ko nga, mawawala na ng saysay ang pinaglaban ng mga bayani natin. Mawawala ng saysay ang pinaglaban ni Rizal, Bonifacio. Mawawala po lahat. Because their dream, when they were fighting Spain, is only freedom and progress for our people. Paano na lang pagtuloy-tuloy. That's why they're saying there should be one new leader that will really move the country forward. Not a political, not a trapo, not someone who was used to all of this political mudslinging before. No? It should be, they're saying, it's the people who are saying this. There should be one strong leader. And they're saying he should be like Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, perhaps with the charisma of Mahatma Gandhi of India, and also the leadership perhaps of George Washington of America, of Rizal, of Bonifacio, Gregorio del Pilar, the bravery of Del Pilar, the bravery of Plaridel, of Marcelo del Pilar. Ayaman din lamang na tayo magse-celebrate ng kamatayan ni Dr. Jose Rizal. I'd rather mention, let me mention all of these heroes. Yung mga nagipaglaban para sa, hindi lang para sa kalayan natin, para sa mga tao na pagdating ng araw. We are in a country where there is dignity among us, where there is integrity in leadership, where, in fact, there should be unity among the government and the people. So that's my thought now. About why, you're asking why, I am here now. So, God willing, we'll be able to pull through as a nation. And God willing also, as I always said, this country will rise again.
Nabanggit niyo po yung 70 programa para sa ating bansa. Ano po yung 6 na programa?
We call it the 7 Flag Lamp Agenda. Flag means free our land against greed. LAMP is the Larry Anders Movement for President. The first is agricultura. The second is health education and youth empowerment. The second is welfare. The third is welfare. The fourth is massive small and medium industry development. The fifth is credible defense or respectable deterrence. This is our term. I studied. I'm a member of the Naval Reserve Forces, so we say credible defense, especially the West Philippine Sea against China. The sixth, of course, environment repair. Number 7 is justice and human rights. Alam niyo yung problema dun. There is an 8, there is a 9. The 8 is the proposed constitutional reform. Some of the proposals of the Bayanihan Constitutional Program of the group of former Chief Justice Reynato Puno. And of course, the 9th is a tax reform. They need to reduce taxes so that our business community, our people, especially the fixed income group, the professionals, will have a reduction of taxes so that they will have more money to buy for their family, for their food, for their clothing, for their shelter, for the medicines of their children, etc. Sa agrikultura, for so long a time, pinabayaan po natin ang isang basic foundation ng ating national life. Agrikultura po. To the extent that right now, umangkat na po tayo ng bigas from Thailand, from Cambodia, from other countries, from Indonesia, etc. To import rice for a country like us, which has so much abundant lands and resources within which to plant rice and to harvest rice, is not good. We have to go back to the culture of the culture. That's why agricultura, cultura, to go back to the culture of emulating agriculture the way our forefathers and our heroes taught us that pagyamanin po natin ang ating mga lupain. Sapagkat yan lang po ang sandigan ng ating katatagan bilang isang bansa.
Since nabanggit niyo po, ang isa sa mga programa niyo is about our national defense at isa kayong member ng Naval Reserve, ano po ang inyong solidong solusyon upang masolusyonan natin ang ating problema sa West Philippines?
It's a very relevant question today. As you know, most of the times, most of the events at the West Philippine Sea is that they have no time. Tinataboy yung mga mangingisda natin. Binubuli mga isda natin. Not only that, yung mga ships natin, binubuli din. They are threatening our maritime, our Coast Guard, and naval vessels also in the area. China, the way I read China is that if you show up that you have the capability, the sincerity, and the willingness to defend your territory, they will respect you. But if you show weakness to them, the more that they will take advantage of that weakness. A delegation from the United States came over months ago. I was asked one question. How will you deal with China? One solution or one doable action is that we will have to revive our partnerships, our collaboration with our allied partners, the United States, Korea, Japan, and let's also maintain military relations with India, even Australia. We should do this in a manner where China will see that there is an allied group of countries, collaborating allied countries, who are willing to help each other in the defense of their territory and their sovereignty. Specifically, I was saying that for a 6-year period, we have to have an additional 20 naval boats, 20 digital missile-guided naval boats. And we have to have an additional of 30 Coast Guard boats that will guard our western territory, that will also guard our eastern territory, especially Benham Rise. We have to start developing Benham Rise, and we need to guard Benham Rise. There are many resources in that particular Benham Rise. Now, of course, it will take money to buy 20 additional boats. For the Navy, it would also take money to build 30 Coast Guard vessels. We have to establish already our own defense industry in this country. Manufacture of small arms, not only small pistols, not only rifles, but small arms like light tanks, armored tanks for our army, for our infantry, small boats for our coasters. This can be done through a collaboration between the shipbuilders of Australia, of US, of France, of Great Britain, in collaboration with our defense industry here also, with our technical defense people here also. We can do that. Now, another thing, we can obtain loans or foreign military sales from our allied partners, from the United States, from India, from Japan, from Korea. If India would like to help, they should be able to help. If Australia would like to help, they should be able to help. With the objective of telling China, please don't bully us. Yes, we are patient, but we have to show to them that we are willing to defend that line, or specifically that line between the Ayungin Shoal, where our BRP Sierra Madre is stationed, an old naval ship, but still an active naval ship, up to the Kalayaan Islands, the 32-hectare Kalayaan Islands. We have to have a line, a defensive line. We will not start a war with China. Hindi tayo magsisimula ng gera with China. But we will defend our territory. And we should maintain strong collaboration now with the United States, because we have the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty with them. And you know naman yung treaty with the United States, that if the Philippines is attacked by a foreign power, the United States will come to our rescue because of that treaty. And again, may I say this? The United States should be allowed to go back to Subic, put up their own naval base again, so that it can serve as a deterrence against any foreign power, not only the Philippines, not only China, but against any foreign power. Because our resources at the west and at the east, ganun na lang kalaki. Oil, maritime, not only isda, not only fish, but also minerals under West Philippine Sea and under the Benham Rise. So, we can maintain the credible defense posture. We can maintain a respectable deterrence posture against any foreign power who would like to exploit us. We can do that. Now, those are the specifics na tinatanong nyo. I don't know whether other leaders, other people were able to say this. That's my point of view. We have to strengthen our collaboration with our allied partners, the US, Japan, Korea. That's the only way we can send a message to any bully country that we will defend this country with our partners. That's it.
Ayan, atin ang nakapanayam ang ating presidential ball candidate, Sir Laarni Andes. Isang karangalan po na pinaundangan niyo po kami at binisita niyo po kami dito sa Calamba City. Any parting words po para sa ating mga kababayan?
Ako po magpapasalamat sa inyo ng taimtim at puso. Because of this opportunity, ay naipahiyag namin ko yung mga kalituntunin na ipapatupad ng flag lap na sakali may awa ang ating Panginoong Diyos. I have very simple thoughts for our countrymen. Let us, I always say, muster again the courage, the bravery that our heroes had. They were fighting Spain, they were fighting the US, they were fighting the Japanese. Let's relive, let's reinculcate in our hearts and minds the sacrifices of these heroes. Rizal, this is the eve of his death anniversary. And I'm so honored to be here again in this hallowed ground. Perhaps this area is where he was able to walk when he was young and when he grew up here in Calamba. So, I'm so honored. It is my pleasure to be with you. I always say that I am someone for the ordinary Filipino. As an ordinary Filipino, I am for the ordinary Filipinos because the ordinary Filipinos are those that need government most, not the rich ones, not the middle class, because they only need peace and order, they only need tranquility. But for those down below, those in the poverty line, they need government most. That's why, God willing, it will be, as I said, a sacrificing leadership. It will be a sacrificing presidency. So, in hope and in prayer, we will overcome these problems. Because I believe that if we are with God, God will also be with us. But if we are not with God, then God will abandon us the way God has abandoned us for so long a time. Reason why many more people are now in a state of misery. Salamat, Ma'am Laarni. Salamat, Kuya, sa pagkakataong ito. Again, ulitin ko, sa akin po ang karangalan ngayong oras na to, ngayong gabing ito. Maraming salamat po. Sa Bicol we say, Diyos mabalos. Salamat po.
Salamat po sa ating presidential candidate, Sir Laarni, isang matino, mahusay, may malasakit at maaasahan ng bawat Pilipino. Ito po sila Arnie Barairo ng KSP. Hanggang sa muli.
Sundown, come down, think about where we are. It's a long way up to everything that we want.
Okay. Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat kay Miss Laarni sa kanyang special episode ng KSP. Yan. Bihirang-bihira mag-special episode yan. And bago tayo magwakas, yan, inayos ng ating technician yung mga messages na live na mga messages natin. Yan. Basahin muna natin ang ilan. Yan. From Randy Foster San Andres. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Mabuhay ka rin, Sir Randy. Kay Ma'am Mercy Chan, mabuhay. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood ng live. Yan, sabi ni Mercy Chan, My President 2020. Yan. At saka siyempre, si Mami Tiger. Yan. Mabuhay Hilario Larry Andes for President 2022. Watching from Australia. Maraming salamat po sa ating mga kababayan dyan sa Australia na nanonood ng live. It's also an honor na kayo'y mapaglingkuran namin through our Facebook page via Facebook Live, Serbisyo Balita. And Happy New Year, sabi ni Mami Tiger, and mabuhay ang Serbisyo Balita. Maraming salamat po. Very touched and honored. Salamat po, Mami Tiger. Kay June Sanchez, Happy New Year. Mabuhay po. Maraming salamat. And with our year-ender episode, pagtatapos ng Season 1 ng Serbisyo Balita Live Online, it's our 61st episode. Kalain nyo, nakaabot tayo ng 61. And more to come. Maraming salamat po ulit. A heartfelt appreciation sa mga nanood ng live. And mapapanood nyo po ito sa sa YouTube channel po namin na Serbisyo Balita Live Online. At sana po, huwag nyo pong kakalimutan mag-subscribe sa aming YouTube channel. Libre lang naman po yun. Yan. Para sa isang taon, maka-join din kayo sa aming promo na Subscribe and Win. Bayani Abarientos, watching from Las Piñas. Maraming salamat po sa mga taga Las Piñas na nanonood ng live ngayon. Napakasarap ng huling episode for the year. Ayan. Maraming salamat. Walang tigil. Walang patid na pasasalamat sa mga tumangkilik sa atin. And hoping for next year na sana mas marami pa tayong episodes na mapagsasamahan. Ayan. Sa mga nakasama natin sa Serbisyo Balita, sa lahat ng staff, you have contributed a lot. And siyempre, speaking on behalf namin ni Miss Laarni, na mga being the founders, managers, and publishers of Serbisyo Balita, throughout the years, kaya nga, yung ating mga staff, through thick and thin, ups and downs, and especially ngayong taon na to, where we have faced so many challenges sa mga trabaho natin, personal man, but still, we have pushed through. Kay Karina Lai Roberts, watching from Canada, maraming salamat po. Sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin sa buong mundo. And we're hoping by next year, ang ating programa Serbisyo Balita would cater sa ating mga kababayan abroad, especially dun sa mga OFWs, sa mga may problema. Sana makatulong kami. Sa ating mga kababayan, stay safe palagi. Yan. Yung bagong virus, Omicron, huwag po kayo mag-alala. Hanggat nandyan ang Diyos, you will always be safe. Sa ating mga kababayan here in the Philippines at sa abroad, a heartfelt, warm appreciation sa inyong panonood at sa inyong suporta. Sa ngalan ni Miss Laarni Barairo, po ang inyong lingkod, Arjay Salgado, bumabati sa inyong lahat ng isang maligayang bagong taon at mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat po.